All he felt was cold metal pressed against the back of his head. If you move faster than how I'm about to tell you or do anything other than what I'm about to tell you to do, I'm going to cave your face. There's a special operations truth that says you cannot prepare for a crisis after a crisis occurs. Have you seen a raccoon attack something? They've been just reaping the reward for a really long time. And now they know that we're about to come after them. All of these are dominoes that are just, teetering to fall over, and one or two more dominoes fall and it's on.
I thought it was jammed. I thought it was dislocated. It was sideways.
Carbon?
Yeah.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, because I knew that was in gunpowder.
Yeah, that's where I just came from Staccato.
Staccato. I didn't realize they were made here in Texas.
Yeah, 35 minutes from here.
Yeah, Florence.
That's right.
That's what your guys were saying. They were trying to sell me one.
Got a big old hat on you.
That way, when I pull it down like this right here, that means it's time to fight. Not that I'm ready to fight now. No, I was just showing you if I was. If I was gonna fight.
I like to fight.
Yeah.
I also have this. My brain's not right.
Okay.
If I'm like sitting on a helicopter or on a tall building, on a cliff, on anything, and I look over, there's a thing that's just like jump, right? And I have these voices in my head.
I think those are two different things: the like to fight and the jump off.
No, they're not. Because
Okay.
it's the same thing in my brain where you just, and you're being funny, and I get it. You're like, I push this down, I want to fight, and there's that thing in me that's like, I'm about to beat his ass.
Oh, right now,
right
just
now,
then. Yeah.
Literally, I felt this yearning, and it took a lot of effort for me to be like, I'm gonna drink some of my cappuccino.
Well, see, I'm being. That is for me because I don't want to go
because that's just what happens.
Okay. Well,
how you doing, bro?
I'm great.
Great.
Thank you for loaning me your house, and got to do a podcast in here earlier. Thank you.
Anybody cool
for that? Yeah. Paul Saladino,
that's
carnivore
cool.
guy. I'm sure you might have seen him on. Yeah. But he was in and out, but this is what we do when we're about to ride. I meant fight like a bucking horse.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So because I don't want my hat to come off.
I think that distinction should be made ahead of time when you're sitting across somebody that just likes to beat people's asses.
But my dad, this meant fight a person as well for him.
Nick Diaz?
I know of him.
He's amazing. You should talk to him sometime. He's a hoot.
Is he the older? He's the older brother, right?
He is. Nate's the younger one.
Nate's the younger one.
But they both have plenty of crazy in them, just like me. And Nate just a couple of weeks ago was sitting across from a podcaster, and the podcaster, huge jack dude. I don't remember who it was.
Bradley Martin. Yeah.
He's like, "Do you think you could beat me up?" And he's like,
You're a podcaster, bro.
In the same vein, was like he was being interviewed, and he's like, "You've ever been bullied?" And he laughed. He scoffed. I think in two parts. First was that like, I'm Nate Diaz, and the second part was like, and then he said, I don't know, man. I had a big brother.
I had an older brother.
Yeah. And his older brother is Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have the same thing wrong with their brains where they're just like, they will just throw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
just down for violence.
Yeah. I love it.
I love it too. I got great friends.
I asked Cowboy one time how many street fights he had been in, because there's people in y'all's lives that don't really think that the octagon translates. And like there would be people that.
There's no people in my life that think the octagon fighting doesn't translate into fighting.
Well, you're around educated people, but like just in the everyday world, there'd be somebody that just like would try to fight Cowboy,
That's crazy.
And I'm sure it's happened to you too, but like, I think I could probably take him,
Yeah.
And so I was just curious because he's in like yourself, and it's leading to a question, but he was like, yeah, I've been in a couple hundred. Well, then later he told me he's been arrested and he had to write them all down and booked, not just arrested and booked 49 times. And because when he went to Canada, he had to write it down. And he had to write down why on each one. One of them was invading and embedding. The other 48 were fighting. That's just how many times he got caught.
Yeah.
And
I have no idea how many fights I've been
in the street.
I have no idea.
What if you had to guess? Like dozens?
Dude, I mean, I was like 12, maybe 13 when somebody said something slick to my 11-year-old sister.
You just did it.
I put him through a phone booth. It was an adult.
Well, you did put him through a phone
Oh
booth.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah.
You know, like the first time I heard the N-word, I was at the Paso Robles Mid-State Fair. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew how they said it. And I was with my friend who's an adopted kid in San Luis Obispo County. There's no black people there anyways. But like, so I had no idea what, I was like, oh, he's being mean.
And your friend was not white?
My friend was black.
Gotcha.
So off to the races. So I got to beat a bunch of those dudes. Again, I think I was like 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
You know, by the time, you know, you're fixing fences and fighting Mexicans in California, this is just like an every other day occurrence. Oh man, so if I were to guess, I was a bouncer for 3 years.
Right. In Florida?
Oh no, California, North Carolina.
I thought that when in your book you talked about that drive when you had to drive down.
Oh, in Louisiana.
Louisiana. Sorry. Anyways.
No, I wasn't
continue.
bouncing in Louisiana. I was sitting at a bar on Bourbon Street. I was driving to this conference called the Trexpo East, which was like this law enforcement and military conference. And I had a car full of experimental, like prototype firearms, which I parked 1 block away on like Royal Street or something. Then I walked a block to Bourbon Street and I'm sitting there and I saw these dudes with cauliflower ears start picking fights with like the Chad fraternity brothers. And, I realized that they had a little ring going. Like they had a
Let's go fight somebody tonight.
to make money. They're luring these like dudes, these tourists that were at the bars on Bourbon Street to go to a different bar so they could beat their butts and then throw them out the back door.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So like they'd shoulder check these dudes. And after like the second one, I was like, oh, I'm going.
Yeah, you got to wreck their party.
Yeah. So he's sitting there and they see a couple of, a couple of like fraternity guys with their collars popped up, walk in, and he gets up to walk over to shoulder check, and I just slam into him, and he's like super confused for a second. I was like, yeah, let's go. And I did that for the rest of the night. I just like fought everybody they brought me.
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
What's a memorable one for you?
Yeah.
Which one?
So I was working at the Ugly Stick.
Okay.
That's the name of the bar. It was like Coyote.
It's a good start.
What are those bars where like, yeah, Coyote Ugly. All the girls are hot there, right? Coyote Ugly. Not the Ugly Stick.
Right.
Opposite end here.
Yeah.
So on the spectrum of like super hot chicks at Coyote Ugly.
They couldn't get hired at Coyote
No.
Ugly. So
like
they went to the Ugly
Zero
Stick.
chance.
Gotcha.
They hit every ugly stick on the way down from the tree as they finally like.
That's where Ty's going.
Okay. Well, that's where I was working. And we're carrying these and I'm just using the language that defines. They're called lumbies. They're an Indian, not acknowledged Indian tribe in North Carolina. They're not Indians, but they pretend that they are. But like they pride themselves on being super tough and having knives. I was carrying this dude out, and we had like gotten a couple of fights in the bar, and I had this guy in like a full Nelson with both his hands up like this as his feet are off the ground as I carry him. So I have both my hands up like this. We just fought like 3 or 4 dudes, and I'm carrying them out of the bar, and we get in the parking lot. A couple of dudes that we'd already kicked out were out waiting for us, and they had knives. So my arms are up like this as this guy comes from my left-hand side, and he has a knife, and he's just about to start sticking me, and both my arms are locked up on this other dude. And this kid named Jeremy Haskell, another Special Forces guy, I don't know where he came from. Heaven, or he was like my guardian angel, or hell for this other fella, because he was like perfectly parallel to the marching surface. He flew through the air like Superman, like this through the air, and he hit this guy, and he like a flat stone over a perfectly flat lake.
Yeah.
Like glass. Pop. And that guy went like pss, 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 off the asphalt, and I just sat there. I was still holding this guy up, and I watched this guy skipping for like 5 or 6 skips. And then Jeremy just landed like he was in a Superman Marvel movie. And that guy's like 10 feet away, bloody, and like bunch of his face missing from just sliding on the concrete and gravel. And the other fellow that had a knife looks at Jeremy, and Jeremy was like, ha! And then Jeremy starts smashing this dude who has a knife. And the guy that I had kind of hucklebucked, he started getting frisky. So then it ended up being a fight where Jeremy got to beat that dude up, and I got to beat this guy up another time.
Dang.
That was a cool one.
Wait, how old were you then? Or how long ago was it?
Well, that was 20 years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I started making real money fighting, you don't get to fight me for free.
I mean, you would still be kind of excited.
No.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Rodeo Time Podcast, and I hope you're wearing an American hat. I hope you're wearing rock and roll denim. I hope you're driving a Can-Am side-by-side, and I hope you're feeding your horses total feeds. And when you need that extra source of protein, I hope you're using Mountain Op supplements. And if you're not, then you ain't no cowboy. Let's get back to Tim. When's the last, you haven't gotten in a fight recently or anything?
For free?
Yeah.
No.
Like on the street or anything?
Nah, man, I was in a elevator in downtown Austin, and the guy spit in my face and called me a couple of words and then poured a drink on my head, and I bought him another beer.
Wow.
Fine.
Why? Because you're more self-controlled now? Because you have more to lose?
Well, I never fought like over me.
Because you wanted to fight me a while ago, and all I did is pull my hat down.
I just like to fight. So like an excuse to fight, it can't be me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand that. Yeah.
You know, you mutter the first syllable of a word of insult towards my wife.
Yep.
You're done. Like you do anything to any of my friends, you're done. You know, like you do, like
I got you.
Just a real clear line. But you can do anything. Like mess with my truck, we're gonna probably fight though.
I don't know the Cowboys line is that clear. I think it's more.
No, it's not. He got in a fight over his boat one time. He got in a fight because like somebody took his parking spot on the lake. He got, what a gem of a human though.
He says he acts like now that he's retired, he would be quicker too. You know, when he was in, for the lake thing, he got in big trouble and
Dana
bailed him out.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and he said Dana will still joke about it every now and then, but he did. But now
Dana's
that
not a great human.
He's retired, he's a little more. He's like, man, bring it on.
Yeah.
But he talked about on my podcast how like if he were to go into a gas station and there's two guys robbing the place, like for him that's a dream come true. For most people, it's a nightmare.
No, I go to sleep at night thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm at church and a couple radical, violent, extremist types come in,
Yeah, I think you're a little unique because you've actually done that.
I'm at home at bed, sleeping with my beautiful wife. I hear the alarm go off and the glass shatter. The first thing I have to do is like hide my erection because this is so fantastic, But like that's literally what I think about to go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Has
the alarm gone off? And it's kind of like what were those two guys tried to steal Chris Kyle's pickup?
What a bad plan.
It just happened to be Chris Kyle's pickup and with a 45. Like, I
had a fella try to break into my house.
Really?
Yeah. When I lived like in Austin proper before I moved out in the country a little bit, the guy he had talked to, I think, one of my neighbor's landscapers who had talked to my landscaper, and my landscaper was like kind of bragging that he was taking care of my house, but that's not what the other landscaper heard. The other landscaper heard like there's a famous guy that has a bunch of guns and money. And so he told some douchebag who showed up at my house at 4:00 in the morning. And the motion sensors for our cameras at the doors kick on, and we see a guy like lifting up the mat and like looking under the flower pot, and he's going from like door to door and window to window at 3:55 in the morning trying to find an unsecured window. And we had a redundant security system, so had he opened anything, the alarms would have gone off. But the motion on the outside was kicking on cameras to every corner that he was going to. Ultimately, I let him chill. I had this giant, it looked like a dire wolf. It was a 120-pound, all-white German Shepherd bite dog, a protection bite dog. And that thing was
he had a command word?
Yeah. And that dog was just like, looking at this window, like this is, and my
like you were with me a while ago.
Yeah. And my wife was all but holding my collar, like, no, down, boy, down.
Yeah.
As I was just like, this is going to be so awesome. Here we go. And we stayed chill until he'd gone through about half the house, windows and doors. And the next group of windows and doors were going to be my kids' side of the house.
Yeah.
That's where,
so I started blasting.
No, all he got was like, all he felt was cold metal pressed against the back of his head. And I was in really no uncertain terms was like, if you move faster than how I'm about to tell you or do anything other than what I'm about to tell you to do, I'm going to cave your face.
Yeah.
And I got to, it was really frustrating night. Proned him out. He ended up having duct tape, a flashlight, and a taser.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, little did he know you had already, worked out and done a round of jiu-jitsu about 355.
Yeah.
So like,
and unbeknownst to him, like a flashlight, duct tape, and taser is like foreplay in the bedroom. Like my wife has that in her nightstand.
Right.
Like I don't know what he thought was going to go on if he broke into my house with those three things.
That the game of telephone that went from your guy to sorry, that's mine. I forgot.
I'm like, oh no, what'd I do?
From your guy to the other landscape guy to him. Like something got lost along the way.
There's some important details.
Who Tim Kennedy is. Because like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Something got lost along the way.
Yeah.
Like, this will be enough. This taser will be enough to subdue him.
Yeah. So when I talk about home security and situational awareness, it is out of it also, I felt really, as a father, and as a husband, like I recognized nobody was coming.
Right. Oh yeah. There's
my
no
wife
time.
was on the phone with the police and they're like, we have a shooting downtown. We'll be there in 30, 45 minutes to take a report.
And that's in Austin.
In Austin, Texas.
See, I live like 15 miles from the closest like big town, and that's 20 minutes would be quick for me. But you're in Austin.
Yeah.
It must have been fun to sneak up on him though, huh?
Yeah, it was fun.
That was probably pretty. Because you knew you had him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's not Zarqawi. Like, yeah.
Multi-time felon, burglary. He was also like, but he'd gotten
Wasn't
off.
he a terrorist?
No, that was a different time.
Oh, I was talking about Zarqawi.
Oh, yeah,
not Zarqawi. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you mean, the thief.
Yeah. I mean, Zarqawi could probably have been tried for burglary as well because he definitely broke into people's houses with the intention of committing a felony. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever talking to some military guys, and I think we might have touched on it, like I think that I appreciate guys in rodeo that like the fight because there's a lot of, it sounds simple, I'm sure, to someone like yourself, but in bull riding, much like the military and I'm sure the UFC, there's a lot of people that like to say they have fought. They like that part of it the most and foremost, but the actual fight, between the first and last gunshot, between the whistle for a bull rider and between the bells for a UFC fighter. Like there's people, I think like yourself, cowboy, and that like the actual fight.
Yeah, I actually like that part.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of that overlap. If we were doing like a Venn diagram of cowboys to fighters, military, that little overlap, the cross section of those worlds, I think there'd be a pretty large population of people that were just down for violence. Mm-hmm. When you look in special operations, you see a lot of cowboys.
Yeah.
When you see fighting, you see a lot of people in the military. That's what was that Tom Cruise movie where he was a JAG attorney talking to Colonel Jessup?
Oh yeah. There's You Can't Handle the Truth.
Yeah.
That
scene.
line. Yeah.
A Few Good Men. That's the one. More and more, the villain of that story is Tom Cruise. Colonel Jessup was like 100% right. He's like, you're complaining about the freedoms that you have as the blanket of freedom that's laying across on top of you is the blanket that I've provided. And then you're doubting the methods in which I provide it. Mm-hmm. Every time I listen to that speech when he's like, you can't handle the truth. Did you order the code red? That is in that little Venn diagram of ours, cowboys, military, and fighters. That's Colonel Jessup falls in that middle category for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of you guys like to give respect to us cowboys. We all know exactly, where the stakes are in each of those three different arenas. But that I respect that and I know that there's probably some people that sneak through on the military, just like in these other where they just like to have fought. Yeah. They like to say they have fought.
Yeah. There's a lot of those in I think in every occupation.
Yeah.
And then there's And then there's the John Joneses.
Yeah.
That were just made for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's 7 billion people on this planet, and however many people have ever walked the face of this planet, if you took every single one of them through every single generation and you locked them in a room with John Jones is coming out alive.
Yeah.
You know, like, then there's those guys.
Right.
You know, I told Cowboy the first time that I was training with him, I was big, you know, I think he was fighting at 155 at the time. And I had just cut down from 205 fighting to 185. So I just went from light heavyweight to middleweight. And I was a big middleweight. You know, Rashad and John Jones, like, these are training partners, Brian Stan. And I was training with Little. He was Little at the time, Little Cowboy. And that dude had psycho, like, no quit in him. No matter what we did, like, he was just down for the fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I want you in my foxhole.
Right.
You know, like, if we're in the trenches, if I'm going to war, I want a Cowboy, you know.
I definitely have much more confidence walking through a crowd when he's with me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of them. You know, the little Steiner riding the barebacks Bronx these days. Dude, he has it.
Rocker.
Yeah, Rocker does. You know, Shane does. Sid did. Man, Sid got lots of fights.
Yeah, I like Sid.
Yeah, he's a
the
great
whole family.
human.
So one thing I'm interested in hearing your opinion on is just kind of the state of the union, you know, like what's going on in the world today. And people are talking about podcasts as being a place to get information. And as the host, like, selfishly, like, I am just most interested in cutting through the bullshit that is media and just hearing from somebody who's got a better finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for instance, just the potential for World War III. Like, I know everybody's saying there's potential, but, like,
we're closer right now than we've been in 60 years.
But what would have to happen for it to lead to that? Like, what are we waiting on for?
We got ICBMs being launched over Europe right now. Mm-hmm. We have, you know, Russian military advisors bragging about how far into Europe they're able to reach with some of their hypersonic missiles. We've already allowed Ukraine to use weapons that can reach deep into Russia. All of these are dominoes that are just, you know, teetering to fall over. And one or two more dominoes fall, and it's on. You know, China recognizing that we're in this transition period, looking at President Trump coming in on the 20th, and they're like, this might be our only chance to get Taiwan. You know, because once the 20th gets here, like, that guy will push the red button.
Yeah.
And so we're in this really scary transition period where the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, they're already like, we messed up.
Was that for real? Is
That's
Hamas done?
No, are they done?
Didn't they do like a little bit of a ceasefire whenever he got elected?
Yeah. And you know, there were countries like Qatar that were kicking out high-ranking members of these terrorist organizations the day after the election. You know, on November 7th, they're like, you guys gotta, I'm not telling you where you gotta go. You just can't stay here.
Yeah.
You know, they're living in multi-million-dollar mansions as the people they are representing. The poor Palestinians are like starving in Gaza, and these guys living off the hundreds of millions of dollars that are being paid to them by the Iranians. They're just,
sounds like our government.
So evil. These people.
That was more in reference of like all the money that's going over to the Ukraine, and then like you got military getting cut, and you know, $750 to the people in North Carolina.
A bunch of messed up priorities. Yeah. Take care of the people first.
Does he, if something were to happen between now and January 20th, does he still press the red button on January 20th? Like, how does that look? Can they get it done before? Is there something they could get done before then?
2016, when he became president and ISIS was ruling the Middle East, you know, they'd taken every single inch of ground that we had fought so hard for at that time for 12, 13 years. The Fallujahs and the Ramadis and the Sadr cities and had coming down from Syria and into North Iraq. President Trump got in there and said, kill them all. Mm-hmm. And they're gone in 6 months.
Yeah.
ISIS, he wiped off the face of the planet in 6 months. So, and then we had peace. The only time that we didn't start a new war in 5 presidents, where the first time the military got training that it needed, it got equipment that it needed, it got the approval and support that it needed to be a deterrent, because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the most lethal fighting force on the planet, where when somebody looks at us, they're like, yeah, I don't want to fight that. They're going to look at John Jones and be like, nah, no, like I'm going to go, I'm going to go somewhere else. Yeah. I'm not going to mess with that bear, because that bear is going to wear my skin, you know, as a birthday suit next week.
Right.
And that's what was happening from 2016 to 2020. Then 2020 happened. Obviously, Afghanistan fell in 2021. And then the invasion of Ukraine happened in 2022. Then you see like us losing international position as, you know, coups are happening in Sudan, as coups are happening in Haiti, like places that we had formerly had strong security and stability in. That's everybody recognizes it's about to change.
So China would come after us because we're helping Taiwan, and then
all of the different ways that World War III could kick off. Like if you're looking for if there is one, there's thousands of different ways that it could start.
Gotcha.
Like there's not just one. There's not just one domino, right? Like the table could just get moved, and then all the dominoes fall.
Gotcha.
One missile going astray, and there are groups that are able to do this, to attack infrastructure in the United States that would make it look like it's a foreign enemy, a peer level adversary that is attacking infrastructure in the United States that we would then, of course, have to respond to. Not that like Iran or Russia or China would do that, even though they totally would, but could we prove that it was them? Or it may not be them. It might just be another group that is incentivized for having prolonged war financially. Like, could the military-industrial complex want to start a war, and wouldn't they be incentivized to do it? I know that sounds insane.
Yeah, no,
but like that's how vulnerable of a position that we're in right now. You know, it takes
just because they could profit over it. I mean, what are the odds that all these different people flowing over the border just want to be here? I mean,
what are the odds of there being bad actors in those groups?
I guess like it just seems pretty obvious that somebody sent a lot of those people here for some military strategic reason.
Yeah, we're in Texas right now. You drive 5 hours south to the border, and I think outside of Texas, outside of Arizona, outside of Southern California, it's like, are these Mexicans crossing the border? No, man.
Yeah.
The Mexicans have been here for forever because they're our neighbors, and they've been like being awesome, especially here. Like, you know, who's cleaning the houses, who's mowing the lawns. Right. Like they're great, hardworking people. That's not who's crossing. These are military-age men that are coming from Eastern Europe, that are coming from the Middle East, that are coming from, you know, North, South America, that are coming from Venezuela, that are both, you know, felons, rapists.
I just wonder what percentage of them really are like just sincerely looking for, not that they should be allowed to walk over by any means, but, you know, I wonder just percentage-wise, like 4% of them are planning violence, or if it's more like 42% of them. I don't know that anybody has the answer to that question, but
I mean, it's just conjecture from anecdotal experience. I was deployed to the border for 6 months.
That's why I'm asking you. So that's fine.
I'm going to say 5 to 10% are bad actors.
Yeah, which is still a lot.
Or tens of millions
Yeah.
of people that are not coming here with like, I want the best thing for my family. They're like, I want the best thing for me, and that's
their country.
Yeah.
Dang. Has that helped? Not that you would want Sheepdog to, but has that upped the phone calls that Sheepdog Response has gotten?
I think people are scared. Not enough Americans are trained. I wish that the response to get training wasn't out of fear. You know, there's a special operations truth that says you cannot prepare for a crisis after a crisis occurs, right? It's pretty much common sense there, which means that you have to get equipped and trained before something happens. You're driving down the road, you see an accident in front of you. Man, it sure would be nice if I had a medical kit in my car. It would be nice if I knew how to put on a tourniquet, how to pack a wound. Well, like as you're watching that accident take place, it's too late, man. You know, if you're at home and one of your kids gets hurt, it's too late for you to wish that you knew what to do. And right now it seems like a lot of people fear was the motivation for them to get training, whether it was civil unrest around the last election, whether it was, the defund the police movement and they realized that nobody's going to come to help them, whether it was COVID, whatever the catalyst was, that it was fear that motivated them. And that's fine, because like we're going to train them the same, but I wish Americans just recognized that it's their duty and their responsibility to be individually trained and prepared to protect themselves and their families. Because like in my case, nobody came and saved me. Mm-hmm. You're on your own.
Yeah. So just circle back, just a question before, talking about like those people coming over here. We were talking about in here just before this podcast started, like, I don't think any of us, and a lot of, definitely not just your everyday American, don't necessarily understand, and I don't know how we could, the level of evil that's over there. And maybe that would be what sends shivers up your spine about the 10% of bad actors that are getting through. And because you know better the level of evil they're capable of, because you've seen it firsthand. Is that something, I guess.
The president is about to label cartels terrorist organizations, and he's about to start using tier 1 units like Delta Force and DevGru, like SEAL Team 6, to target. That is how evil and how bad they are and how dangerous they are. So when I say like that 5 to 10% are bad actors, like that's drug smugglers bringing fentanyl in here. That is human trafficking. Yeah. Kidnapping kids. I don't remember the exact statistic, but the majority of women that are brought across the border are raped by the traffickers. Like these are absolutely cruel, evil people, and not the immigrant, not the asylum seeker. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about a significant percentage of them that are bad, evil people that have been kicked out of their country or kicked out of a prison and are now at our doorstep and have illegally crossed in the past 3 years. They're taking over apartment complexes in the United States.
But just a handful.
Yeah, but just a few.
Just a handful. I loved that line when J.D. Vance was like, "Are you hearing yourself?
Did you just hear what you said?"
A handful of apartment complexes
have been taken over by criminal syndicates.
Right.
Well, these cartels are peer level capable with training and equipment. So like think Russia, Iran, China. Like these people are that trained and that equipped. Like they have that much money. They have more money than Iran does. And because while Iran has oil, they have fentanyl and cocaine and marijuana and little kids and guns. So like they've been just reaping the reward for a really long time. And now they know that we're about to come after them. And if you look through history, when the attention of the American military's special missions units have been directed towards a single thing, person, place, they get it.
Yeah.
That's just the end. Whether that's Bin Laden or that's Zarqawi or insert whatever place or name is at that list, a deck of cards, that's the end.
Right.
And they have to recognize that the end is near.
I saw a deal, the Exodus Cry. It's a group, kind of falls in line with Operation Underground Railroad, those kind of, but anyways, it was saying that in Iraq, they're trying to pass a law where
they passed it.
The age of
9, age of consent for marriage.
They did pass.
It's passed.
Oh damn.
Yep. 9-year-old little girls in Iraq is Iraq. And the Taliban has had that. They've had that law for forever.
Damn.
But now it was just passed in Iraq that a 9-year-old girl, her age of consent is 9. So like, it's not rape at 9. She's married at 9. It's an evil world, man.
That's so evil.
For evil to conquer, it takes good men and women to do nothing. So if you're just going to stand back and be like, but whatever. Well, that's at your doorstep.
So what is I guess I was going to say, what does the everyday American do? But I guess they did vote. Sounds like, like everybody showed up.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it. I don't, for that beautiful Constitution of ours, the only way that dream of America worked was for we the people to be a bunch of bad motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That was it, right? They carved their existence out of the woods. They fought Indians, and then they had a tyrannical government with a king that was like, hey, you guys got to do this and that. And we're like, we're not doing that. Like, we're ungovernable. Well, the only way that you can be ungovernable is if you're self-sustained. Like, you can get your own food. You can you can like purify water. You know how to clean an animal. You know how to educate your children, not have your children educated by somebody that doesn't share your values. Like, we've been so lazy as people. We've gotten fat. We've gotten mentally weak. We've gotten completely captured. We've let pharmaceutical companies control every element of our lives. Like, at some point, you just have to be ungovernable. There's nothing in my life that anybody can say, I have leverage on Tim Kennedy. Because like, you don't.
Yeah.
I have sovereignty over my household. Like, what is best for me and my wife and my children, there's no entity on the planet. And that pendulum got to swing a little bit too far where, government had a little too much power over the individual and the individual family. And that pendulum hit a brick wall, which was the American people and the vote.
Yeah.
Now that pendulum is going to be swinging back, as RFK is going to start dismantling things, as the military is about to be transformed.
What do you think about Musk and Doge?
Oh, man. Dude, the thought of Vivek, Ron Paul, and Elon Musk going ham, Milton Friedman. Have you ever heard his interview? I think it was in the 80s, 70s, talking about the departments in the United States. And he pretty much was like, if it starts with Department of, you can abolish it.
Yeah.
It was never supposed to be intended by our founding fathers for that to be in existence.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was Matt Gaetz that said, like, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearm, that should just be the name of a convenience store in Florida.
Shit.
Which I totally agree with.
Yeah.
I want law-abiding citizens, but for us to be a society that is self-sustaining and self-sufficient, the individual has to be responsible. And we're not right now.
Yeah.
We have to step up. You asked, what can we do?
Right.
You can get trained. You can get healthy. You can get educated. You can get prepared. And then you can equip yourself and your community with a collective strength.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lone wolf self-survivor, like, I got a pre-packed go bag and a truck that's ready to go. That's cool. You ever watch Walking Dead? You're dead.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have to have community. You have to have a tribe. And man, when you saw how the Amish responded to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They came in, they took milk and cheese and threw it in the trash. And then one long-haired gay dude shows up and is like, I think you should register to vote. And all the Amish were like, hell yeah, we will, because you pissed us off. We were so chill, but then you pissed in my Cheerios. Yeah. They don't say piss, because they're Amish. Yeah. But you get the idea.
Or hell yeah, but I get the idea. Yeah.
And,
they pulled their hats down.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
You never thought the
Amish hats.
When you piss off, when the Muslims and the Amish are united in a vote, you've messed up pretty royally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk about, the pendulum was way over there. That was just so ridiculous. It was such a relief to find out that, that it is just tiny pockets that believed that, because there's just some days you get on the internet and it just feels like, dang, am I really in the minority? Yeah. And then it turns out we weren't.
Yeah, and it had voting IDs been required.
Yeah, it would have been
every state.
There's no telling what
there
would
have been one state that would have voted differently.
Yeah. Yeah, one state was blue that required voter ID. I don't believe that to be a coincidence. What state was it?
No, of the total electoral votes, that
all the ones she won, they were all no
voter ID required.
Except
That's
for
right.
one.
No, all of them were.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
But
I thought there was
if you took that requirement out or you added the requirement of voter ID required, there was one state she would have won.
Okay, that's maybe that's the statistic then. Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
could you imagine?
But do you know which state?
I do. It was Northeast and super tiny.
One of the ones that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it has like six electoral votes or something.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's not Texas.
No, not Texas.
Not Texas.
Yeah, Texas went way more red.
Yeah.
Way more red, as did California.
And I was so concerned. But I mean, back when like Beto was running, I was like, oh,
that was the most expensive congressional race in history.
Oof.
That guy had a couple $100 million in his coffers to beat a not very likable congressman, as in Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
And still couldn't do it.
Yep.
With the name of Beto.
Yeah. So who'd you vote for?
Yeah.
And how much did you make last year after taxes? I'm just kidding.
Dude, I got hammered in taxes this year.
What is the deal? What is your rule about pulling guard with jiu-jitsu? You don't let people pull guard? You don't like it when... Well, who are we talking about?
Yeah, like I'm just insulted by the line of questioning.
Yeah,
that's what the frown was. The frown was like, I don't even want to dignify this question with a response.
I'm a year in. I've got 2 stripes on my white belt. On my white belt.
Okay. 2 years, and you still only have what?
No. 1 year.
Okay.
2 stripes.
Okay. Cool.
But multiple broken bones and breaks
from jiu-jitsu.
No.
Oh,
from rodeo. But I just go in and I roll like this when I learn. You know, like I just a lot of just slow rolls.
Yeah, that's cool.
As I like.
Yeah, that's all right.
Regardless, the triangle is like my go-to, and I'm just like, Lord willing, if a terrorist, a Venezuelan, did want to tie up, hopefully we go to the ground and I can put him in my guard.
That sounds so gay.
It does.
Like that's the gayest thing. I want to take this overseas Venezuelan dude, wrap my legs around him, and then put his face in my crotch. That's
choke him out.
And choke an autoerotic asphyxiation. Like it just keeps getting weirder the longer that you talk. What I'm telling you is that is not how a person does violence. Is laying down on your back and pulling a dude's face into your crotch.
All I'm saying, it's maybe a coincidence that the move I'm the best at is also the gayest. I didn't pick it.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that way.
Serendipitous.
Hey, I do get it. And every day because I don't enter competitions.
Yeah, the only time I'm on bottom is not on the mats.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I know it's his hand. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, so what percentage of the time in your street fighting career
was I on bottom?
Would jiu-jitsu had helped you?
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't have put them in a triangle.
No, I've never been in a street fight and used a triangle.
Damn it. I'm just saying that's just the one I'm good at on the mats. It's just worked out that way.
Yeah, just don't do that. Don't be on your back, Dale. Don't be on your back.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, never on my back.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not after this.
There's like bullfighting. You see a lot of dudes like butt scooting, trying to pull a deep half.
I don't.
No?
I don't. You're right. I don't. Okay, so if I'm not like if I have no desire to get into competitions like jiu-jitsu and
yeah, that's fine.
Then should I not even train with the gi? And
no, you should absolutely. You train in both. I love gi jiu-jitsu. I love no gi jiu-jitsu. I just don't do gay jiu-jitsu.
So you don't do any triangles?
No. I train the triangle to know how to get out of, a queer's triangle.
Okay. I'm just learning this.
Okay.
This is new for me. I didn't realize how.
If you're in a position and somebody can pick up a brick and like smash your face with it, you're doing jiu-jitsu wrong.
Okay.
Coelho Gracie said that if somebody can just touch your face while doing jiu-jitsu, you're doing jiu-jitsu wrong. Like if I can grab your face and push your eyes out, like you're doing jiu-jitsu wrong. If I can muffle choke you and just like watch you slowly asphyxiate just from my hand being over your mouth as you're trying to triangle me, not alone that I could just like pick your tiny frail little broken body up and then slam into the asphalt.
Okay, well there's a point. I thought jiu-jitsu was supposed to help me if I'm
It does help you, just not if you're using lame technique that's like built for a
2-stripe white belt, maybe.
No, like have you seen those people in New York that have like super jacked up dogs? Like it's a competition and they're ugly,
I don't go to New York
and they're tiny and they're like retarded. And the owners of these dogs are gay.
Not excited about where this is going.
They don't own a car. So they have like a retarded dog that has like some very significant handicaps. They're gay. They don't own a car and they've never been in a fist fight. They like those techniques.
They like the triangle.
Yeah, they like to triangle. Just say that every time.
Okay. What if you're fighting?
No.
Okay. So what do I do? Just
sweep them. Get on top.
Sweep them. Okay. Back to the drawing board is right.
No triangle.
Back to the drawing board. I am so good. It's my go-to. I got my instructor once in it.
There's nobody on our mats that you're going to triangle.
Damn it. Or maybe because they're not expecting it.
Like Shane Steiner, my 50 some odd going on 60-year-old friend will literally like put himself in a triangle for you, and then he'll effortlessly like stand up and like tickle your tush, and there's zero chance you could ever finish him.
But sometimes
in either way,
the arm bar is really close. You could go to the arm bar there, fake the triangle, go to the arm bar
from the top, finish the arm bar from the top.
Gotcha.
Okay, use the position to sweep them, and then finish the arm bar from top.
So should I train no gi?
Yeah, no gi's great.
But we train in a gi.
That's great.
I feel like, how does that actually help us in the street though with the gi? I mean, like, point taken. Okay, I'll stay in the gi.
Yeah, a collared shirt, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt.
Yeah, the gi is good.
Yeah, gi, but no gi's good.
No gi's good.
It's all great.
We don't need to test that.
I mean, like, think of all.
That was a good X choke,
especially in the cowboy world.
That was an X choke, wasn't it?
Got them denim jackets, right? You got them canvas jackets. You got those collared shirts with plenty of starch in them. All of those are real good. One of my favorites, and I can do it with just a t-shirt. I grab it, I pull it down, and then I like re-grab at the neck, and I just run my knuckles right into your carotid arteries, and it starts crushing right here, just your windpipe. So as that trachea is like getting crushed inside of your throat, my knuckles are going in your, like, it's a blood choke, but I'm also watching you like slowly suffocate as well. So like the darkness is coming.
We love watching that.
And we're like right here though, I'm like right here.
Kind of gay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Making eye contact.
Yeah.
Not yet. You would never, you wouldn't use a triangle, not even once?
From top.
Okay.
That's some epic level, like alpha ape stuff. So the guys, in your case, you like to fight from bottom. Great. So I underhook one leg.
Just always end up there.
I take my leg, I put around the back side of your neck, and then I pull your head up, and then I push your arm across, and then I take my leg and I put my foot locked into the other leg, and I'm sitting with my crotch over your face as you're suffocating.
Very similar.
But I'm on top.
I don't know. If the first one's gay, that one's kind of gay too, I think. Anyway. We've got some questions from the audience.
Okay.
I should have written down who these were from. Why does Shane Steiner always beat you in workouts?
Who wrote that?
I don't know. I should have written that down.
Yeah, you should.
I should have wrote down who asked these.
Yeah. Let me see this. Who wrote that?
I don't have it.
I don't think so. I do love having freak training partners. Okay. Because you're never. I'm writing a book right now called The Purpose of Pain, and I fully believe that the catalyst for positive change is pain and suffering. And so like if you're just cruising through your workouts, doing like your bro chest and buys, thighs and back, there's no real growth. There's just not going to be. But if you're training with people,
but you're going to look really jacked.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, me neither.
No. Yeah, it's like, wait, here we go, let's go, like that. That guy.
Yeah.
Do you see who he was surrounded with? Monsters.
Yeah, every
single way. And like Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he looked peak jacked, like he's every day looking at Louis Ferrigno being like, crazy brains of competition. So first of all, Shane does not beat me in the vast majority of our workouts. First. Second,
I knew that.
When he does, I count it all joy when he does, because I know I have to be better. I have to be stronger. I have to be faster.
So you're saying we should work out like Arnold?
I'm saying, that's fine.
Okay, he has buys and tries days.
He does. That is not my type of programming. I train.
I know.
Yeah, to move my body like up and over things and around things and like functional fitness. So,
but not CrossFit.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, CrossFit's fine for people, as is like powerlifting for some people.
And
as
doing
is,
triangles.
No.
Yeah.
No hard pass.
Who's harder to kill, you or Marcus Luttrell?
Ooh, clearly Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah, it was put to the test.
Yeah, he was too. What an amazing human, though, right?
Yeah.
Now, like him as a SEAL, him as the lone survivor. What an incredible, remarkable story. But him now he's one of my favorite humans.
Yeah.
He's like, that dude texts me every week.
On Sundays?
No, not on Sundays often.
It's on me on Sundays.
Hits you on Sundays. Mine is not consistently on a day. He'll just be like, hey man, checking on you. Like, then insert something that he saw or how he was reminded, and just great guy.
I'd love to see who, I know Travis Pastrana is one. I'd love to see who all he checks in on. Myself, of course, the greatest
I wonder
bull
if it's
rider.
because we're messed up.
I'm the world's greatest bull rider.
Yeah, I'm just like the dumbest dude.
And you're really good at an X choke from across the table, obviously. And I don't know who this one's from. Are you always mean to people when you work out with guests, or is it just me when I'm there with Dale Brisby? I don't know if you remember Ty having to leave and throw up.
He threw up a couple of times.
Yeah. Out of both ends.
Yeah. We
You work out really hard. That was the day I was going on Rogan. You were like, hey, come over here. Puke your guts out. Very important that you do this first.
Yeah. And you felt good you look good on Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
There's no problem.
Felt great.
Yeah, of course you did. No, we don't do anything different when somebody comes in.
Yeah.
So like whatever our program was for that day.
How many days a week do you do that though?
6.
That workout. Like that intensity of a workout.
6. Yeah.
Oh.
Not on God's day.
Oh. Yeah. Because you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we lift on God's day.
No, I knew you were a Christian because I read your book, but you are a God-fearing man. That came later?
No. That's been there from the beginning. I was just really dumb for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still dumb.
Took a little hiatus, a little break off to the side.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna, there's no like redemption or like profound prodigal son story here. It's just like, no, I was just dumb. I was wrong. I was messed up. And if I could,
Before you know it, you find yourself swimming in a gulf naked.
Oh, that was 1/3 the way through the dumb.
Yeah.
That's not even peak dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bunch of girls pregnant, thought I had AIDS, naked, swimming in the Pacific Ocean. Beginning of the dumb.
Turns out you're a pretty good swimmer though.
we got a tiny frozen little pecker.
Thank God.
You're pretty buoyant.
Thank God. Possums versus raccoons. Who wins?
Oh, raccoons all day long. They're like little bears.
Yeah, they can stand up on their back feet.
Have you seen a raccoon attack something?
The other day I killed 9 raccoons. Yeah.
But that's you as the apex predator.
Yeah, that's right.
Have you seen
Put
a
them in
raccoon?
triangles.
No, you did not. Because that raccoon would gnaw your nuts off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would take every little bit of them tiny little testicles, and that would be a tasty treat for them. What a great alliteration. Do you hear that?
It was a better tasty treat for them was a 22 mag.
Yeah.
So.
I try not to kill possums, and I will relocate occasionally a raccoon. But if they're like, if they've entered if they've got in one of my traps around my chicken coop, because the way I have the doors facing of all my traps are like towards where the food, the eggs, and the chickens hang out, then like you're in a vicinity that is not for you to exist in, so you have to die.
Yeah, I recently had a horse come up with the EPM, which they get from possums, raccoons, cats being in their feed or on their hay, and just kind of went through a kill them all and let God sort them out phase kind of moment. And so, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, raccoons.
Yeah.
I don't like ticks, so I let them possums live.
Gotcha. We usually you got to be somewhere at 4:30, right?
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We we normally wrap up with some.
What are you doing
advice. Tonight? Don't have anything. Driving back, I guess. What do you got?
I got 4 tickets to a private showing of Gladiator release.
Oh, wow. You're going by yourself?
No, I'm going to give them to you.
Oh, you would give them to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. If you're not going, that's okay. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you were,
if you go like on a movie date, and you could like you could triangle me after we have
yeah, I was gonna triangle you, choke you out.
Dinner and a movie and a triangle.
Well, I thought you were returning the favor because I took you to the mothership at one time. You don't even remember. You don't even remember.
No, I remember going. I remember going with you. I was literally just at the shooting range with Rogan's like security detail, and they were like, "Yeah, man, we haven't seen you in a while." And I was like, "Man, I live here, so like, you know,
yeah,
somebody has to be in town for me to go with. That's why I went with you."
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
We just had a triangle moment.
Yeah, we did. I felt it. Do you feel it? I felt it.
What else was I going to ask him, Cole?
If
you're so good a fighter, how come it didn't work against bulls?
I did pretty good against bulls.
Yeah, that's what I told the audience. When they asked it.
For television, they want to see you get hooked. Yeah. I mean, like when you're on Discovery Channel, they're like, "Hey, can you get tossed a couple of times?"
But how embarrassing would it have been on your show Hard to Kill if you'd have died?
That would have been pretty embarrassing.
That would have been ratings would have just plummeted.
Yeah, I mean when you're wearing, because I had like all the proper bullfighting accoutrement on.
That makes it safe.
So I had like I had the chest protector.
Yep.
Was I wearing a helmet? No, I wasn't wearing a helmet.
I doubt it.
Nope.
Yeah.
But I had my knees protected and I had a chest protector. So like, there's nothing up here that I need.
Yeah. Also, why couldn't you ever find Hitler?
Well, it's that mustache of his. It blends in everywhere he goes. Yeah. Nobody would ever notice that thing. Especially in a country full of brown people, a white dude with a pretty unassuming mustache would have been really difficult to find.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just bad at hunting people.
Did you ever get in a fight over there with those guys? Because you were there a long time.
I was there a long time.
Did you get in a fight?
This never made it in the show. My one of the directors of photography, BJ Golick, we went to a fight club in Argentina, and obviously the origin of the Nazi movement going back to the brown shirts, where they would go as National Socialists and fight people. There was a culture of fighting in the early kind of stages of Nazis. Mm-hmm. And that has carried for forever. So we went to these fight clubs and we saw dudes with SS tattoos on their neck, and swastikas and palm leaves from, the northern African Nazi invasion. And I went in there, I trained with all those guys and I beat their asses to
America.
Establish dominance. But I was also accepted by them because I could beat them all.
Mm.
And then we were able to talk to them and learn about how truly insane their ideas are.
They throw a lot of triangles.
Nope, not a lot of triangles. Not strong bottom guys from the Nazis.
Yeah. That's just where I end up.
Just don't go there. They just make a conscious, intentional choice. I'm a dude. I'm not going to be underneath another dude. The fight should be in the dominant, better fighter is the fight is for who's going to be in the dominant position on top. Okay. That's the fight. That's my new go-to. We usually wrap up with life advice. What's your go-to life advice? Election was great. That's the beginning. I think for this to really work out, we as Americans have to truly take freedom back into our control. And for that to happen, transformation culturally, as a society, there has to be a really significant shift to individual responsibility, to financial responsibility, to health, making America healthy again. All of all of those are individual important steps that have to be taken by each individual family. So like, I really hope for this to stick, it's going to take the American people stepping up and starting to assume responsibility. Because if you don't do it, the government will do it. And you don't want them to do it because clearly it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast. My life advice is just do it, then talk about it. That's what I always say. Or always give 100% unless you're donating blood.
One of those two sound. Yeah. Those are wonderful advice.
Yeah. Stay on your toes like a midget at a urinal. That's number 3. Just depending on the room. Cool. Thanks, Tim Kennedy.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
God bless.
You guys check out Sheepdog Response, Scars and Stripes, sheepdogresponse.com.
That's it.
Yep. Meet the man, the myth, the legend right here in Cedar Park, Texas. Pow, pow.